And the reason is that it is easy to observe. The breath is ever present, and we don't need to make any effort to find it. So the only thing is to pay our attention to it, and it is easy to follow, especially if one has not any disturbing thoughts. It's easy to follow and attend concentration. This meditation has been practiced by the Buddha himself before enlightenment and before his enlightenment, and it was a basis how he started. And later, of course, he practiced Vipassana in order to attain enlightenment. He praised this kind of meditation several times in the suttas, in his discourses. So, and he encouraged other people to practice it, and because there are many good benefits. The Buddha says, this concentration, samadhi, through mindfulness of breathing, when developed and practiced much, is both peaceful and sublime. It is an unadulterated, blissful abiding, and it banishes and steals evil, unwholesome thoughts as soon as they arise. And therefore now he calls this meditation samadhi, because concentration, because that is the aim of this practice, is to attain concentration. Through Anapanasati, he is going to explain how to attain this concentration. Therefore, we are going to follow step by step the way the Buddha explains how to practice Anapanasati. So, and he speaks about this evil, unwholesome thoughts and how this mind, it is unsteady and flickering, and how to tame it. Therefore, in several other suttas, he speaks that he says, this flickering, unsteady mind, difficult to guard, difficult to tame. The wise person strengthens it as a fletcher strengthens an arrow. Therefore, through concentration, one can actually train the mind to strengthen it. So, like a fletcher strengthens an arrow, this is the aim of our mind, to strengthen it, because our mind jumps from object to object. So it is not straight. It does not go straight. Through meditation, so concentration, it can go straight. That is a mind which is tamed. And the Buddha tells, a tamed mind brings happiness. So now, usually our mind is fragmented mind, because it's scattered in different directions. So, and people, they feel frustration and stress and so forth, because all this mental energy goes out and the mind becomes dispersed in different objects. But through concentration, the mind becomes concentrated. In this concentration helps to unify the mind. So this unification of the mind is which brings these good results. The Buddha speaks about this concentration is called oneness of the mind, or one-pointedness of the mind. And the word the Buddha uses for that is cittase ekagata. Therefore, the aim of Anapanasati in this part for samatha meditation is to bring oneness of the mind, concentration of the mind, on-pointedness of the mind. So, and how to do so, the Buddha explains it in details, and how to see it, and what is the place one has to establish his attention in order to observe the breath. This is what we are going to explain now. So therefore, the Buddha starts in his discourses about explaining about the sitting position. And he says, sitting down, folding the legs crosswise, setting the body erect. This is the meditator, what she'll do. So now, setting the body erect, it is something very basic thing which one should do. So, and that means spine should be erect. Folding the legs crosswise, of course, some people, they might have difficulties. We are going to show some other alternative positions. So therefore now, these are the main basic things, especially with the setting of the body erect, that one should keep the body erect and start meditating. So those who know the Pali, they can read the Pali. Sometimes I put the Pali text also below. So then for those who want to check the texts. Now the Buddha recommends the full lotus position because that was the way those days he was himself practicing, and also his disciples, many of his disciples were practicing. Of course, there is another alternative. There is a half lotus position. Here you can see that only one heel is on the thigh, whereas in this position is two heels are on the thighs. So that's why this is called here with one heel on the thigh. It is called half lotus position. Another alternative is the Burmese position, which one puts both heels on the ground, so a little bit far from the body. Some people feel it comfortable to sit like that. So then, and you can also sit on a half of cushion if you, you want to have something as a support. But main thing is you have to strengthen your back. So that is very important. Now, regarding your arms, you can place your arms and legs comfortably in this position. So, or you can place your arms in this position or in this position. Main thing is the arms can be relaxed. So, because after one concentrates on the breath, it is one loses the perception of the body, and the body is no more important. So why we put the hands like that in a relaxed manner? It is not to feel the weight. Weight means because if you will put in different position, you might feel some pressure, some weight, and so forth. That's why it is all right to put them in such a way so that you don't feel your hands, the weight of your hands, and you don't get any disturbance by putting the hands in such a position. They can disturb you for concentration. That is how you have to relax your arms in this position. So these are unnecessary hand position. You can keep them, but it is unnecessary means they don't have any much importance. So because after one concentrates on the breath, only the breath as the focus of attention. Any other position of the hands and so forth become unimportant. Therefore, it is up to you if you want to keep this position or not, but it's not absolutely necessary. So this is not a suitable posture. So then other suitable positions are to sit on a stool or on a seiza, that means on a large cushion, or on a chair. But even in these cases, you can see that the spine is erect. It's very important, and the head is not turning downwards or upwards, but the nose is parallel to the ground. So these are, you can see the nose is parallel to the ground. So you can keep your head like that and the spine erect. So, and then the Buddha is going to explain, after he explained about the position, he is going to explain mindfulness of breathing as a serenity, samatha meditation. So this is how he is going to show step by step how to do that. But before that, he is going to explain where to put the attention of the breath. Therefore, we're going to see the place of observing the breath. The Buddha says, establishing mindfulness at parimukha, that means around or near the face or mouth. This is the word the Buddha uses. Here's the Pali text for those who want to read it. So then pari means around or near, mukha means the face or the mouth. So therefore now we are going to explain why the Buddha explains this. So the reason is that some people who have short nose, so they can feel it at the upper lip. They feel the breath in the upper lip. Those who have normal nose, they can feel it in the nostrils. So then he did not specify any place, exact place, but he told around or near the face or mouth. That means this is the area one has to concentrate where the breath strikes the nostrils or the upper lip. So in order to verify, regarding this term parimukha, There are other canonical books which explain this. There it says, this mindfulness is well established at the nose tip, nasikage, or at the mark of the mouth, which is the upper lip. Hence, it is said establishing mindfulness at parimukha. Therefore, now this is the tip of the nose, who one has to keep attention to it, or the upper lip. As I told you, the reason is that those who have short nose, they can feel the breath on the upper lip. This is the area. And there is another canonical book, it says also, in this way, he sits down by establishing mindfulness at the nose tip or at the mark of the mouth. He does not give attention to the in-breaths coming inside the body or to the out-breaths going outside the body. So therefore now one should give all one's attention to the tip of the nose and the upper lip, and not follow the breath down the lungs or the belly. So, or if the breath comes out, should not follow it outside the nose. This is the meaning here. And if one follows the inhaling air inside the body as it travels in different bodily parts, one will then be practicing elements meditation in regard to the air element, Vayodhatu, but not mindfulness of breathing. So therefore now it's called, if one follows the air inside the body, that is, one follows the air element. In that case, one practices elements meditation, Dhatu Manasikara. Even so, by meditating on the air element, one doesn't even practice elements meditation fully, because it is required to meditate on the other three elements, solid, liquid, heat element as well, and to see their correlation. Therefore, it can't be said that one either practices mindfulness of breathing correctly or elements meditation correctly. So therefore, just to observe the air element in the body, it is not fully practicing elements meditation. So one has to combine also the other elements. But this is a different practice about elements meditation. Here the Buddha wants to show us how to practice mindfulness of breathing meditation at parimukha. Hence, the Buddha advises in regard to mindfulness of breathing, let your mindfulness of breathing be well established in one's person at parimukha. When mindfulness of breathing is well established in one's person at parimukha, any inclinations for outward and vexing thoughts cease to exist. So therefore now, the Buddha uses here the verb establish. Now the verb establish indicates the placing and fixing of one's mindfulness at parimukha, implying thus of not moving it either and thither, or onwards and backwards to any other place. The opposite, the opposite of establish is disestablish, displace, change, move, remove, etc., which is not the case in Anapanasati Samadhi. Therefore, you establish your mindfulness at the tip of your nose where the air strikes the nostrils, or at the upper lip. So, and then observe the natural flow of your in-breath and out-breath at the nostrils or at the upper lip. So therefore, you have the in-breath and out-breath. So that is the area you have to establish at the nostrils or at the upper lip. Do not give attention to the in-breaths going inside the body or to the out-breaths going outside the body. That is where it is the Buddha explains about the place of observing the breath, where one should establish one's mindfulness. In other meditation, he does not use the word establish, the verb establish, but in this case, he is very particular to use this verb establish. So, and then he gives now the first step, how to observe the breath. Now we know where to establish our attention on mindfulness, and then the Buddha is going to explain how to observe the breath. He says, ever mindful one breathes in, ever mindful one breathes out. So therefore now he tells about in-breath and out-breath, to be mindful. Here's the Pali text for those who understand Pali. So therefore now one breathes in mindfulness and breathes out mindfully. So in regarding this, therefore you also ever mindful breathe in, ever mindful breathe out. Do so for about 5 minutes. Therefore for the in-breath, you mentally note in-breath. For the out-breath, you mentally note out-breath. So this is important because you have to use these words in order to remind yourself how to practice what's called mindfulness of breathing. Otherwise, the mind does not know. We usually use these words, in-breath, out-breath, in-breath, out-breath. Whenever we feel the natural flow of the breath, the natural flow of the in-breath and out-breath. For in-breath, as soon as we feel it, we can tell mentally in-breath. And for the out-breath, as soon as we feel it going out, the air going out, we mentally note out-breath. You can do so for about 5 minutes in order to familiarize the mind, to make the mind familiar, so that the mind should know what it has to pay attention to. So do not use your eyes to pay attention to the breath. So some people, they strain the eyes, they want to see something there, but there is nothing there to see. It is only the air which flows in and out from the nose. So there is no shape, there is no color. So therefore, pay attention to the sensation at the tip of your nose or to the movement of the air. It is only the sensation is there. So this sensation, again, it has no color, it has no shape. So you try to feel the breath. If you can't feel the breath, you at least try to understand the movement of the in-breath and out-breath. So that is why your attention has to be focused on the cessation. Try to feel the cessation of each in-breath and out-breath. Whenever you feel the in-breath, you tell in-breath. Whenever you feel the out-breath, you tell out-breath. Now, these words correspond to the experience. We don't use any words that are completely not relevant to the experience. So we don't try to visualize, to fantasize. Try to stick to the experience. When thoughts or feelings distract you, ignore them. Come back to the sensation of your breath or to the movement of your breath. So any thoughts, you just don't pay attention to them. Draw again and again your attention to the sensation of the breath or to the movement of the breath. So this is the place you have to focus your attention, to the tip of the nose. So, and mentally note in-breath, out-breath. For each breath you feel and each breath you feel out, if you breathe out. That is the first step. You can practice for 5 minutes, in-breath, out-breath, in-breath, out-breath, till you become familiar with this practice. So later on, you can skip these words if the mind already knows what to watch. So, and then now the Buddha is going to explain the second step. And the Buddha says, when one breathes in long, one understands I breathe in long. So long breath, long in breath means you have to know, to understand that this is a long in breath. And then he says, when one breathes it out long, one understands I breathe out long. So for long out breath, you understand it is long out breath. Here's a Pali text for those who understand Pali. So therefore now, when you breathe in long, understand I breathe in long. Means long in breath, you mentally note long in breath. So in that case now, what we want to see, it is more details. When you breathe out long, understand I breathe out long. That means when you mentally note long out breath. Now long means it is a long time duration. That means you can understand there is a time duration in the breath. We want to see more details. Now, in the first step, we want to see only the in-breath, out-breath. But in this case, in the second step, we want to see how long the breath lasts, if it is long or short. So now, to understand the difference is that if it is short, you just feel that a movement, a slight movement in the nose tip. That is very short breath. But if you feel it a long movement in the nostrils of the breath, then you can tell it long in breath or long out breath. So the second step is again for you. Excuse me, yes. And, when one breathes in short, one understands I breathe in short. So whenever you feel short in breath, you understand that is short in breath. One understands out, when one breathes out short, one understands I breathe out short. So in that case, when you understand, you feel the short in out breath, you understand it is a short out breath. So therefore now you also, when you breathe in short, understand I breathe in short in breath, you mental note short in breath. So when you breathe out short, understand I breathe out short out breath. You mental note short out breath. So short time duration, it is what it means here. It is not short about how many centimeters. It is a time when you just sense or feel the breath very slightly in the nose. This is a very short time. You mental note short in breath, short out breath. If you feel it long time, some is called, then you can name it and tell it short, long out in breath, long out breath. So that is how we're going to, with this second step, we try to see more details, not only just in breath, out breath, but try to understand also the time, how long time this breath starts. We go from the gross observation to the more subtle. We try to see more details. And then the Buddha says about the third step, one trains thus, I shall breathe in experience the whole breath body. So that is, if you feel the whole in-breath body, it means the breath as a whole, you mentally are not also whole in-breath. So, and then he says, and trains thus, I shall breathe out, experience the whole breath body. That is a whole out breath. So now here, the Buddha uses the word which is called body. And in Pali, it is called kaya. Therefore, because some people, because they misinterpret this, they can't understand what kaya means here, because it translates as body. So they think it is the physical body with bones and flesh, to feel, to experience the whole body of bones and flesh. That is not the case, because in another sutta, the Buddha explains what means kaya in this context. Therefore, we're going to see the meaning of the whole body, what it means, especially the word body, because some people don't know. Therefore, the definition of kaya in this context is given by the Buddha thus. I say that this is a certain body, kaya, among the bodies, namely the in-breath and out-breath. So from this definition the Buddha gave, we understand that the body does not mean here our body with our hands, our legs, our head, our spine, and so forth, and any other parts of the body, except the in-breath and out-breath. So, therefore, Sabba-kā means in this context the whole bodily process of the in-breath and out-breath, and kaya, body, is used in a metaphorical sense. So we understand that the kaya, it is a metaphorical, and in English also we tell the body of English literature, the body of water in this country. The body of water means all the rivers and lakes in this country. So, and that does not mean body, any bones and flesh. It means in metaphysical, say, a collection of things. It's a bulk of things, a mass of things. So it is said so because the meditator, now regarding this whole body, what the Buddha says, the whole body, that means the whole bodily process of the in-out breaths. So it is said so because the meditator at this step begins to lose the perception of the physical body and starts to perceive the whole breath as a body, namely as a bulk or mass of air. So if somebody observe the breath again and again, there is a time when the mind achieves some good concentration. He loses the perception of the physical body and only the breath remains in front of him. This breath, it is like a body in the sense that it's like a bulk or a mass of air. So, and then the Buddha tells us to observe the whole process of this in-breath and out-breath, which he calls body. So in this way, you try to experience the whole in-breath at the top of your nose. Whole in-breath and mental note, whole in-breath. So try to experience the whole out-breath at the tip of your nose. Whole out-breath, you mental note, whole out-breath. So therefore now we try to see more details. In the first step, we have seen only in-breath, out-breath, in-breath, out-breath, but we did not pay attention to see the whole breath. We see maybe sometimes the beginning of the breath, sometimes the end of the breath. So, but in this case, we try to see everything from the beginning till the end. Then we can see the whole out breath. So this practice is to go from the more gross in the first step and more details in the second and third step. It is the same, we observe the same breath, but we try to see more details. So now we're going to explain more details about the whole body, breath body. Now whole means you can see the beginning, middle and end of the breath. So at Parimokkha, that is the touching point. So when the breath touches the nostrils, so when the breath starts touching it, that is the beginning. When it continues touching it, that is the middle. When it stops touching it, is the end. So therefore, you try to see the whole process of the breath from the beginning till the end. Then you can see the whole body. So I will give an example here with a violin player. So if you see the eyes of this violin player, he puts all his attention to the chords and to the bow. That is the touching point when he plays the music. He does not give attention to the upper part of the bow or to the lower part of the bow. So his attention is on the touching point. In the same way, the meditator does not give attention to the air which goes inside the nose. And he does not give attention to the air which goes outside the nose, but gives attention to the touching point and to see the beginning and middle and end of the breath. Now, in order to understand the difference between what means whole breath and part of the breath, we're going to give an example here. So now, if you see only the beginning, you see part of the breath. If you see only the middle, you see part of the breath. If you see only the middle, you see part of the breath. If you see the beginning and middle, you see only part of the breath. If you see the middle and end, you see part of the breath. If you see beginning and end, it's part of the breath. But if you see the beginning, middle, and end, then you can see the whole breath. So in this case, now you try to see the beginning, middle, and end of the breath. So start with beginning, start to feel the beginning, and then and the end of the in-breath. Now, whenever you feel the in-breath, start to see the beginning and end of the in-breath, and mental note beginning, end. So in order to understand the whole in-breath, so this in-breath has a beginning and the end. If you can follow it from the beginning to the end, then you can see the whole of it. But if you see only the beginning, you can see part of it. Or if you see only the end, you can see the end of it. So again, you see part of it. So therefore now you use these words, mental note, beginning, end of the in-breath. So just these two words are good enough. You don't need to repeat many words, beginning, end. So, and then for the beginning, you can start, see also beginning, end of the out breath also. A mental note, beginning, end of the out breath. If the breath goes out, you also do the same. If you see only the beginning, you see part of it. If you see the end, you see part of it. So try to see both, the beginning and the end. Then you can see the whole process of the out breath also. So then try to see also beginning, middle, end of the breath. Later, of course, if you can sharpen your concentration, you can see also the middle of the breath. A mental note, beginning, middle, end of the breath, or end. So now, what is the middle? The middle is actually now if the breath strikes the nostrils, that is the beginning. If it continues striking the nostrils, that is the middle. When it stops striking the nostrils, that is the end. So therefore now we have three reference points. It is easy to concentrate the breath if you do like that, because you have reference point, you know where to concentrate. But if you just tell in breath, out breath, in breath, out breath, in breath, out breath, so it becomes very abstract. Now with this third step, the Buddha wants to show us to be more concrete, more precise, in order to watch the breath in order to attain deeper concentration. So if we lose the mind, if we let the mind loose, so the mind is not going to deepen the concentration. So for the out breath also, beginning, middle, and end, you have to mental note this for in breath and out breath. You have to use only the three words here. You can see, you can start only with beginning, end, and slowly try to see the beginning, middle, and end of the breath. So try to see also beginning, middle, and end of the out breath. So this is how we try to see more details. It is the same practice, the breath. We all the time observe the breath. In the beginning, in the first step, you tell about 5 minutes in breath, out breath. Then for 2-3 minutes, you can see whether the breath is too long or short. And then the rest of the time, try to observe this third step, whether the breath is called to see the whole breath. That means the beginning, middle, and end of the breath. So that is on practice as well. We don't need to think very much, only to see more details. Now the Buddha gives another step, which is called the fourth step. Here he says, one trains thus, tranquilizing the bodily process of breath, I shall breathe in. One trains thus, tranquilizing the bodily process of breath, I shall breathe out. So here, this means that even though the process of breath may become tranquil, calm, quiet, serene, and relaxing, one should not stop watching it, but continue paying attention to the in and out breath. So therefore, the Buddha tells one should train to do so. Even if the breath becomes calm, one should not stop. One should still continue, as called, watching the breath. Now, one word the Buddha uses here, again, it is kaya, or the bodily process, kaya sankhara. And again, some people, they have doubts, what is the kaya here, what is the body here? So in order to clarify that, we can see that is actually the in-breaths and out-breaths. It's not any body, like as we have told, the body with our hands, our head, or any other organs of our body. It is the in and the out breath. We're going to show a sutta, which it is explained very easily. Therefore, now the meaning of the bodily process, kaya sankhara, this definition is given in the suttas thus. Here it says, in breaths and out breaths are a bodily process, kaya sankharo. These states are bodily, are bound up with the body. That is why in breaths and out breaths are a bodily process. Here's the Pali text and the sutta for those who understand the Pali. So therefore now kaya sankhara is nothing else. It's the body, in breaths and out breaths. So then it's nothing else. Here again, kaya is meant with in a metaphorical sense. It is the bulk, the whole bulk of the mass of the breath. So we're going to give another reference from another canonical book. It says, what is the bodily process? Kaya sankharo. Long in breaths, long out breaths. Short in breaths, short out breaths are bodily. These states are bound up with the body. Now, bodily processes, kaya sankhara. So therefore now from these references, we understand that this kaya sankhara, it is nothing else except the breaths, whether it is long or short. We regard this as a body in the sense that is a bulk of the air, which enters the nostrils and comes out of the nostrils. Therefore, one should continue watching the natural process of the in and out breath at parimukha, even though it may become tranquil, calm, quiet, serene, and relaxing. So therefore now, if you feel calm also, you must not be satisfied. Now I've attained this kind of concentration, I should stop. No. The Buddha says you have to train yourself and watch your in-breaths again and again. So this is how the practice of mindfulness explained in the suttas. So then, therefore, we basically have 3 steps. The first step is to watch the in-breath and out-breath. That's for about 5 minutes, and use these words, in-breath, out-breath. And then afterwards, we are going for 2-3 minutes to watch more details, whether the breath is long or short. So in that case, you use the words long in-breath, long out-breath, or short in-breath, short out-breath. So, and the third step is to see the whole breath from the beginning till end. Then you can use the words beginning, end, beginning, end, beginning, end for in-out breath. If you go also deeper, you're going to see also the middle. You can see also the middle, beginning, middle, and end of the breath. So now, for those people, for example, who can succeed, that is all right. But for those people who have distracting thoughts, maybe some episode happened in their life, which is very distracting, they feel distressed and their mind is agitated. So they can't concentrate with this method, which is very empirical to experience the breath. There is another method which is called counting method. This is against distracting thoughts and feelings. If such distracting thoughts and feelings occur, you can use this counting method. This is just temporary to calm down the mind. So therefore now, if there are sometimes distracting thoughts or feelings, you may try the following counting method to focus the mind to the breath. Now this counting method I just mentioned for emergency case. That doesn't mean you have to use this all the time. You can use it only if the mind is very agitated and so forth. Then you can't concentrate on the breath. You try for 5 minutes. The mind does not come down. You can use this counting method in order to bring the mind closer to the breath. So, and you should not be confused. Now, I'm telling you this only if for people who have this kind of distracting thoughts. Other people, of course, they can go ahead with the first method the Buddha taught. So now this counting method is simple. It is not complicated. You can learn it very fast. You have to count from 1 to 5, but there is a method here. Now for the in breath, out breath, you mentally note 1. So therefore, in the end of the out breath, you put the number 1. Again, in breath, out breath, you mentally note 2. In breath, out breath, you mentally note 3. And then in breath, out breath, you mentally note 4. Again, in breath, out breath, you mentally note 5. You go up to 5 and again start from 1. So in the end of the out breath, you put the number. So if you miss the number, you forget the number, you again start from 1. So therefore, in summary, this is the method. In breath, out breath, you count mentally note 1. Again, in breath, out breath, you mentally note 2. In breath, out breath, you mentally note 3. In breath, out breath, you mentally note 4. In breath, out breath, you mentally note 5. You go up to 5. If you miss any number, you start from 1. Now, this method is for those who have, as I told you, distracting thoughts, uneasy thoughts, restless thoughts. So they can use this because if you miss a number, you understand that your mind is gone, is wandering. So you try to bring it back and remember again the numbers. So in summary again, this is the method. In breath out, breath 1, that is the first round. In breath out, breath 2, that is second round. In breath out, breath 3, that is third round. And in breath out, breath 4 is fourth round. And in breath out, breath 5, it is the fifth round. So although now this method is okay, for some people they can calm down the mind. If however the distracting thoughts or feelings persist and are tough, you may try the following tougher counting method by repeating the same number of the in-breath and out-breath. So this is again for emergency case. You don't need to practice this all the time. In case I told you the mind is, there are some thoughts that persist. To counteract them, you can use this tougher method. This is also very simple. Sometimes people find it more easier than the previous one. I will show you. Now you can see here, you count for in-breath, you count mentally not 1. For out-breath, you mentally not 2. Excuse me, 1. Therefore, you repeat 2 times 1 for the in-breath and for the out-breath, you tell 1. So if you repeat the number 2 times, then it's easy to remember. So if you repeat it once, maybe you might forget what is the next number or next. So therefore now this method is because you repeat the number 2 times, and the mind has no chance not to forget. So then, and for the next number it is, you count in breath, mental note 2. Out breath, you mental note 2. You can see the number you put for in breath, you put also for the out breath. Again, in breath, mental note 3. Out breath, you mental note 3. Again, in breath, mental note 4. Out breath, you mental note 4. Again, for the in breath, you mental note 5. Out breath, for the out breath, you mental note 5. So that is now the summary here. In breath, you mental note 1. Out breath, you mental note 1. In breath, you mental note 2. For the out breath, you mental note 2. For the in breath, you mental note 3. For the out breath, you mental note 3. For the in breath, you mental note 4. For the out breath, you mental note 4. For the in breath, you mental note 5. For the out breath, you mental note 5. So because you repeat the number 2 times, it's very easy to remember. So if you miss a number, you start again from 1. So that is not for you to confuse you, but it is some people they find it very easy to concentrate the mind. So because if you miss a number, that means you can cut your mind much easier and bring it back. So now in summary, this method is in breath 1, out breath 1, that is the first round. In breath 2, out breath 2, it is the second round. In breath 3, out breath 3 is third round. In breath 4, out breath 4, it is the fourth round. In breath 5, out breath 5, it is the fifth round. So then you can use this method of counting. When the mind becomes calm, you just go and to the second method, to the first method, which is more empirical. Then you can start from the third step and see the whole breath. Start to observe the whole breath. Because if you see with the whole breath, the beginning, middle, and end of the breath is more, you can see more details and your samadhi can sharpen. So now this counting method, you can see the breath just in a gross way. So after the mind becomes calm, you can stop counting and then go to the first method. I told you about this, how to see the in-breath, not counting, just to feel the breath, to sense the breath and see the beginning, middle, end of the breath. So therefore, here we say, when the mind comes down, you may return to experience the whole breath. You go to the touching point and see the beginning, middle, and end of the in and out breath. And mental note, beginning, middle, end. So that is the method regarding this mindfulness of breathing meditation. If one continues so and the concentration increases, the sign of concentration, which is called samadhi nimitta, may appear. Now, this nimitta is usually a light which appears in front of oneself, is connected with the breath. So this is called the sign of concentration, samadhi nimitta. Because some people have doubts whether the Buddha ever used the word nimitta, so I'm just going to briefly show here references where the Buddha used the words. This is samadhi nimitta and samatha nimitta. These are the words the Buddha used. And samadhi nimitta, this word occurs about 25 times in the Sutta Pitaka. You can check if you like, and refers to various samatha and vipassana meditations depending on the context. Samatha nimitta, this word occurs about 11 times in the Sutta Pitaka and refers to samatha meditation. So now here is on Sutta, the Buddha says about samatha nimitta. That is the sign of serenity meditation called samatha nimitta. Tranquility, giving careful attention to it, is the nutriment for the enlightenment factor of concentration. So according to the commentaries, the sign of serenity, samatha nimitta, is serenity itself as well. Its object, which is the patibhaga nimitta, a counterpart sign. So according to the commentaries, there are three types of nimitta: the preparatory sign, which is called parikama nimitta, acquired sign, ugaha nimitta, and counterpart sign, which is called patibhaga nimitta. Now, meanings of nimitta means sign, a mark, an image, a mental image, a reflective image. We're going to explain what each of these nimitta means. Now, the first is preparatory sign, which is called parikama nimitta. This is what the Buddha told, establishing mindfulness at parimukha. So now the place of the nostrils, or in the upper lip, that is where I have to fix on attention, establish on attention. This is the preparatory sign, because you can feel the breath, or you can feel the movement of the breath. That is why you start concentrating. If you can't feel the breath, if you can't feel the movement, then there is no any sign there. There is no any indication that the breath goes in and out. But if you feel it, you can feel the movement. So that becomes a preparatory sign how to start practicing, focusing the mind. So after you do so, with these three steps the Buddha told, how to observe the breath, in and out breaths. So then after some time of deep concentration, when the concentration deepens, the acquired sign will occur, which is called ugaha nimitta. The still unsteady image, which arises when the mind has reached a high degree of concentration. So this image is actually appears as a light, which is connected with the breath. In the beginning may appear like dispersed, but slowly comes closer, and becomes very compact and appears connected with the breath. So then afterwards, the counterpart sign will appear. It is an entirely clear, immovable image arising at a much higher degree of concentration. The same light will become stronger and stronger, so it becomes more transparent, and it will cover all the face. Soon after this image arises the stage of access concentration, which is called upachara samadhi. And then this is called when the concentration is reached, upachara samadhi. Upachara samadhi, access concentration, is very close to jhana, to full absorption, when the mind is reached full absorption, a high concentration. So therefore now when the meditator continues with meditation, ultimately he can attain the jhana. This is attainment of the first jhana. This is the full absorption when the mind sinks into this light. So that is the time when the meditator has the first experience of first jhana. So in that moment, very blissful feelings arise, and the meditator can attain this again and again. It's calling not to stay there longer time. Now, the bright sign which appears, the light which appears, varies depending on the meditator. For some, it is a bright light such as the morning star, or a bright ruby, a gemstone, or a bright pearl. For others, it is like a moon or a sun. So the reason is that different people have different perceptions. If they see a light, they perceive it in different ways. I will give an example with a prism. If a white ray of light falls into the prism, then you have a rainbow effect. So, and it depends from the angle you see it. Which angle you can see different colors. So in the same way, some people who have different perception, they can see this light with different colors sometimes. But slowly, the deeper they go, this light becomes more white, and they can attain the third jhana. So the light is the product of intense mental concentration. It is just photons that appear in the meditator's mind due to the condensation of electromagnetic waves that exist in our bodies. So therefore now this is just the electromagnetic waves which appear as photons in the meditator's mind, and this light, it is nothing, it is a product of the mind. It is a product of concentration. The mind itself has no light, but it can produce light because we have in the body these electromagnetic waves. Now, if you see in the electromagnetic spectrum, so you can see different colors, and if the waves, if they get condensed, then they can produce different colors. The same way, we have condensation of electromagnetic waves because of mental concentration. When the mental concentration increases, then so these waves become more condensed, and then produce a kind of light which appears in the meditator's mind. So that we have electromagnetic fields in our body, it has been also verified by scientists. Here there is a photograph. Photography is called Kirlian photography. On the human body, you can see that emits electromagnetic waves around. So this is the case also with plants. Plants also have the kind of electromagnetism. So, and what is basically recorded in Kirlian photography are the very natural phenomena in our body, such as pressure, electric grounding, humidity, and temperature. Changes in humidity, which sometimes reflect changes in emotions, barometric pressure, and electric voltage, among many others, will produce different auras. So because there are some misinterpretations regarding this light, we're going to see how people misinterpret it, and especially by some mystics and some other meditators and so forth, they give different interpretation in this light. We understand that these are not real understanding about this light. They have no real understanding. The real understanding can be achieved, especially if one practices Vipassana meditation, and the time one analyzes this light, one can understand from where this light comes, what is its nature. It's just plain photons. But we're going to give how some people give some interpretation about, which is misinterpretations. They tell that this is the immortal pure light of infinite consciousness. The cosmic light, the cosmic consciousness, the cosmic energy, God's grace, and the union of man with the divine, enlightenment, infinite ego, the soul, the spirit, Brahma or his grace, Bodhisattva or his grace. Therefore, you can may hear different meanings people give about this light, because once one does not have the ability to analyze this light, of course, one has to use one's fantasy and to give the interpretation. So therefore, this light is, if you analyze it, you can see just plain waves of photons which appear in front of meditator's mind. It comes actually to help the meditator, because once this light appears, the meditator is able to see more details about the breath. It's like having a torch in front of oneself, and one can see the breath in a very clear way. So that is why in the beginning one should not look at this light, because if one looks to this light, the light disappears. So one understands that once the concentration drops, so then also this light disappears. So therefore now this is depending on the concentration one has developed, is a product of concentration. It's not anything coming from outside, from any divine being, from any supernatural power. Is coming from inside due to the power of concentration. So if one looks to this light disappears. So because the concentration breaks. If you continue with concentration, this light becomes more and more powerful. It comes closer, it can cover your face. So that is why you, as called, this blocks the mind, thoughts completely disappear, and only thought on the object of the breath remains, which make the capable the person to attain more deeper concentration and to attain jhana. So because the time is running out, I'm not going to explain many details about this phenomena. So now we have explained up to mindfulness or breathing meditation. But I have to say something, that those people who have some strong emotions, especially negative emotions, that means some episodes happen in their life and they created some very negative emotions like anger, hate, hatred, or maybe fear or jealousy and stress, and they are not able to concentrate on the breath due to these strong emotions, negative emotions. Today we're going also to explain about how to overcome these negative emotions through the meditation of friendliness, which is called metta meditation. So then therefore those who have difficulty practicing Anapanasati due to these negative emotions, they can overcome, they can be freed from these emotions, and when the mind becomes calm, they can return to Anapanasati. Now, before starting about metta meditation, I want to explain the word metta. The word metta comes from mita, which means mitra, and which means friend. So, you know, even in Sinhalese language, it is mitra is a friend. So in Sanskrit, this mitra is a friend. Also like that, mita comes from, as called mita in Pali means friend. So its real meaning is the disposition of a friend, mita sebhava, that is friendliness. That is the meaning. It is a friendly goodwill and wish for the welfare and happiness of all, wishing, may all beings be well and safe, may they be happy. That is from Karaniya Metta Sutta. We can learn this reciting, but now we're going to show how to practice it, not just recitation. Recitation is one thing, meditation is another thing. So through metta meditation, anger can be abandoned by this development of friendliness. Hence, the Buddha says, this is the escape from anger, ill will, hate, vyapada, the liberation of the mind by friendliness. This is called metta cetta vimutti. This liberation is from anger, from ill will, from hate, from hatred. And the Buddha says again, cultivate the metta, the meditation of friendliness. For cultivating the meditation of friendliness, anger disappears. Again, he says, this is the liberation of the mind by friendliness. Frequently giving wise attention to it, this is the denourishing of the arising of anger that has not yet arisen, and of the increase and strengthening of anger that has already arisen. So one more thing we want to explain regarding the etymology of metta. So sometimes metta is translated as love, and we're going to see that it does not mean love. Therefore, metta is not love. So the Pali word for love is prema and priya. In Sanskrit, it's called prem and priya. And in Hindi, it is prem and priya. In Sinhalese, also prema. So therefore now, if you want to learn Hindi, how to tell love in Hindi, here's a class. Learn Hindi, how to say love in Hindi. It is said PR or prem. So these are the words Indians use. Both words are come from the ancient languages, which is Pali and Sanskrit. In this way, you must understand that this metta is nothing to do with love. Love implies a strong emotion of affection and attachment, which in turn can bring sorrow and fear if that love is not fulfilled. That's why the Buddha says, from love, pema, piya, springs sorrow. From love springs fear. For him who is wholly free from love, there is no sorrow, whence then fear. The same he says about craving, tanha, the origin of existential suffering, dukkha samudaya, making it to understand that love is a form of craving and attachment. Thus he states, from craving springs sorrow, from craving springs fear. For him who is wholly free from craving, there is no sorrow, whence then fear. However, instead of love, the Buddha urges his disciples to develop other noble qualities towards oneself and others, which he calls metta, and which literally means friendliness, or a friendly disposition, and also karuna, compassion, mudita, sympathetic joy, and upekkha, equanimity. And we're going to see metta as meditation, as serenity meditation, is the escape and mental freedom from animosity, hostility, ill feeling, antagonism, enmity, malice, resentment, bitterness, antipathy, ill will, anger or hate, fear, sorrow, jealousy, stress. Anything what we call negative emotions. Therefore, if you have anger in your mind, if you have hate in your mind, if you have fear in your mind, if you have sorrow in your mind, if you have jealousy in your mind, if you have stress in your mind, then is the time to practice metta meditation. Because these are strong emotions. If you start practicing Anapanasati, you are not able to focus on the breath. You have to focus on these emotions and then try to overcome them. We are going to teach now how to do so. Now, if you, for example, feel anger, so you may wish yourself, may I be without anger. So you have to take the object of yourself. You have to have the image of yourself in your mind. So, and wish yourself, may I be without anger. So this is called meditation because you have to keep an image. If you just recite the word, is not meditation, is called recitation. So in that case, we have to take the image of ourselves. You can tell, you can take our whole body sometimes and bring all attention to our body and try to keep, to concentrate upon us, because if anger, for example, arises, we know that it spreads all over our nervous system. So if you feel some tensions in different parts of the body, you can go to these parts of the body. And once you are there, you can wish yourself, may I be without anger, without anger. You concentrate on the emotion and also on you. You throw all your attention to your body. So, and you wish yourself, may I be without anger. So if memories come from the past, when you remember that you felt angry with somebody, with some situation, you can take again yourself as an object and wish yourself, may I be without anger, without anger. Either in the present moment or in past moment, whenever you see yourself, take yourself as an object and wish yourself, may I be without anger. So in that case now, by wishing so, it means, may I be free from anger. This is the meaning, to get freedom from anger. Don't try to fight with this anger. Don't try to suppress it. Just to acknowledge it, to recognize it, to identify this anger in oneself, and wish, may I be without anger. In that case, what we do it is, we withdraw our mind from anger. We take it away from anger and wish, may I be without this anger. We don't give the fuel for this anger to continue. Without fuel, this anger subsides and goes away. But if we get entangled with them, we get involved with it, then this anger gets more fuel and it continues. So therefore now what we do here, we just take away our mind, withdraw our mind, and wish, may I be without it. So by doing so, who don't give the fuel for this anger to continue, and it drops. So therefore, this this kind of practice is not to suppress or to fight anything. It's just to withdraw our mind from this dangerous emotion, which is called anger. So if you feel hate, you can wish maybe without hate. Hate is a more increased degree of anger. So if you feel fear, you can wish maybe without fear. If you feel sorrow, you can wish maybe without sorrow. If you feel jealousy, you can wish maybe without jealousy. If you feel stress, you can wish yourself maybe without stress. These are the most common negative emotions which people feel, and they know that in that moment they lose their temper, they lose their peace of mind, and that is a time when you can practice metta meditation to overcome them. The way I told you, by throwing your attention to yourself and wish yourself maybe without this emotion, negative emotion. You can tell it in your own language. You can tell it in the way you understand it. But first, you have to identify what is this emotion which disturbs the mind. So then after this emotion goes away, because if you practice after 10, 50 minutes or maybe 20 minutes, these emotions usually goes away. So, and then if the mind becomes calm, you can also wish, may I be happy. So this is a word which includes many positive emotions, because this is what most people wish in their life. I don't know if you know somebody who gets up in the morning and wishes, may I be unhappy. So most of the people subconsciously, they wish to be happy, because this happiness is what most people want in life. Whether they want it in this way, the other way, but subconsciously they want to have to be happy. They don't have, and happiness means without problems, without worries, without any troubles. So to have this kind of fulfillment inside one's own mind, the peace of mind and fulfillment. That is something happiness. Some people, they wish for it. So, and this is something which has very positive meanings. That's why in that case now the Buddha used this word happy, to be happy for oneself and for others many times in the suttas. And if you repeat it again and again, you try to arouse very positive emotions. So therefore now this metta meditation, from the other side, from one side, we try to overcome these negative emotions. And when these emotions go away, we try to arouse positive emotions by telling, may I be happy. In this case, you also concentrate, put your attention about yourself. So take yourself as an object and wish yourself, may I be happy, either in present moment, or if memories come, you remember yourself how you have been happy with friends, with relatives, with any other people together. So if such memories come, again, you take yourself as an object and you wish yourself, may I be happy. Now, these positive emotions are very important, because if the mind feels a kind of very happy and peaceful and so forth, it's easy to concentrate. So we use this kind of metta meditation also for the achievement of concentration. But if the mind is distracted and so forth, it's difficult to concentrate. So these positive emotions actually help the mind for concentration. And this happiness is not a material happiness one feels. It's like, you can tell it's spiritual, mental happiness, which makes the mind calm and peaceful. And then one feels very easy to concentrate the mind, even practice Anapanasati in much easy way, or to have a very other, if one wants to increase metta meditation, one can attain even higher concentration. Actually, with metta meditation, one can attain up to 3 jhanas. So with Anapanasati, one can attain 4 jhanas, but it is quite strong meditation, called even metta, which produce a very strong concentration. So now, the time, if you wish yourself, may I be happy again and again. So if you feel this fulfillment inside you, satisfaction of happiness, then you can share this happiness with other people by wishing, may he or she be happy. If other people come in your mind, friends, relatives, parents, whoever comes in your mind, you remember, you can wish other people to be happy. So thus you can share this happiness with others, and you can see that actually this is also good effect if you share this happiness. It's like taking a tennis ball. If you throw it in the wall, it will come back to you. So in the same way, if you wish other people to be happy, you also feel happiness. So this can increase your concentration deeper and deeper. So I told you this and so forth in a brief way for those who have this kind of strong emotions with this anger and hate and so forth. So they can practice metta meditation. If the mind is calm, so they can return to Anapanasati. So I will conclude my explanation about both meditations here. So so then we're going to start meditating. But before that, I will give you 5 minutes at least for anybody who wants to ask some questions regarding the practice. If somebody is not understood something, he can ask 5 minutes before we start. So in order to do so, you can ask your questions in three ways. If you go in the Zoom screen, you can go down with an arrow or your finger, and you can see there are small icons, which it shows a microphone, it shows a chat box, then it says in the end there is a small face which says reactions. So you can press this hand, a palm, which indicates that you want to ask a question. So another way it is that you can ask something on the chat. You can type your text there. So if you can succeed with these two methods, you can raise your hand, physical hand, then you can understand that you want to ask something. We're going to devote only 5 minutes in order to show you to ask some very specific questions. Otherwise, we're going to, because we can't devote more time, most of the people are waiting to meditate. So afterwards, after we meditate, anybody ask any questions, we can spend longer time for those who want to clarify some points. So then,
Bante, I think there's one question by Endlin about the meditation.
What is that?
Edlin.
In the chat.
In the chat, yes.
Okay. So yes, I can see it. Last session, Bande mentioned when we do metta meditation, we need images and not just reciting words. If no images appear, do we forcefully bring back the images? No, the images actually, we begin with ourselves. So, and the images actually, we have to have an object in order to recite. If we tell, may I be me without anger, in that moment, we don't have the image of a tree or a birds who fly in the air or clouds. So we try to take the object as ourselves to understand our presence. So that is good enough because at least we understand our presence. That is also a kind of, we can tell, image or an object of ourselves. So therefore, if no images appear, any other object appear, you try to bring your attention to yourself, and which may be without anger or regarding the emotion, or may be happy, depending what you are practicing. So therefore now these images, what I told you, it is actually the object. You have to know an object. Sometimes the image appears, of course. Now if images of other people appear, you remember the faces, or sometimes you remember your face, or remember the face of your friend. So then that is an image, is an object which you can relate, and then you take that object, that image, or that person in which that person wants to be happy. So if there is no image, you go back to yourself, try to take yourself as an object and try to wish yourself may be without this emotion or may be happy. So then another question is from Jandi, and who asks, may I know whether we can do meditation immediately when we wake up from the bed? Of course you can. So except if you feel a little bit sleepy, you can drink some fresh juice or something, or maybe a little coffee or some tea. You can do it. Or water. Some people, they just drink plain water and start meditating. No problem. So, okay, now the rest of the questions we're going to ask later. So now we're going to start meditating. Actually, now these sessions are a form of for practice. Those who already saw the previous video, of course, they don't need to see it again, because they can just enter and start practicing with us. So we're going to repeat this next Sunday also. It's the same class, but it has to do more with encouraging people to practice. It's not only theory, not like Dhamma talks like that. It is more on practice. And for those who already saw, for example, today's presentation, next time if they enter, they can just enter a little bit later, maybe about 45 minutes or 1 hour later. So that is the time when we start practicing. So in this way, they don't need to see the whole presentation from the beginning. Of course, we are going to allow the people to start from about 50 minutes before we start. We allow people to enter, and slowly, anybody can enter and also leave if he likes, and re-enter when we start the practice. So you can reply how many minutes you want to meditate.
It's a good idea, so everybody votes. We have 18, 19 out of 28, so there are some more people that can vote. Don't forget, voting is our right in democratic countries, so we have to apply our right to vote.
So the poll results show that we have 33% of people who want to meditate 30 minutes, and again 33% for people who want to meditate 60 minutes. The rest of the people, they want to meditate 45 minutes or 50 minutes. So in order to be fair with everybody, I will suggest we meditate 40 minutes. So, or 45 minutes. What do you think?
I think Bante 45 is the middle because it's between 60 and 30.
Yes, okay. We're going to put 45 minutes today. So we're going to start. Now, if we start, you can, for those who want to participate, they better keep the spine erect. They can see, you can sit in any comfortable place, maybe on a chair, maybe on a cushion, maybe on the bed, or maybe on the floor, cross-legged, the way you are feel comfortable. But main thing is you keep the spine erect and try to concentrate on the breath. Before you start, you can pay attention to your whole body and tell yourself, relax, 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 3, 4, 4 times. And then bring your attention to the breath. It's called the natural flow of the breath. And try to feel the breath in the tip of the nose. And then whenever you feel the in-breath, you mentally note in-breath. Whenever you feel the out-breath, you mentally note out-breath. So you do it about for 5 minutes. After that, you go and see more details. See whether the breath is long or short. And mentally note short in-breath, short out-breath, or long in-breath, or long in-breath, out-breath. You can do it for about 2-3 minutes to become familiar with the practice, to see more details, and then go to the third step, which you can see the whole breath. Try to see the whole breath, the way I explained. Try to see the beginning and end of the breath as called initially. So, and mentally note beginning, end for the in-breath, beginning, end for the out-breath. You can do it like that. So if you can't see the beginning, try to see the end. If you can't see the end, try to see the beginning. And slowly, slowly, you can see both. So then if you can't see either the beginning or the middle or the end, you just go to the first step. Tell in breath, out breath, in breath, out breath, till you become familiar with the in breath and out breath. After you become familiar, again, try to see the the beginning and end of the in breath, out breath. So if you do like that, slowly, slowly, you're able to see also the middle, beginning, middle, and end of the breath. So after the mind becomes familiar with that, you can skip these words. You don't need these words anymore. So, and try to observe the whole breath from the beginning to the end. So that is a simple practice. The practice is to see more details. The more details we see, so the more the concentration deepens. That is a simple practice. So then it has to do with experience of the breath. So, and I told you, if there are distracting thoughts, you just ignore them. Don't pay attention to them. Try to bring your mind back to the breath. Of course, if it is too difficult for you because there are many, many thoughts, restless thoughts, then if you like, you can try to the counting method we have mentioned from 1 to 5. If you forget the number, you can also start again from the 1. So that is briefly about what's called about this breathing meditation. So if very strong emotions come, you can practice metta meditation the way we explained. So we're going to start, and the practice today will be 45 minutes. Try as much as possible. It is a mental effort you have to do. There is no physical effort. You just observe the natural flow of the breath. So then wish you good concentration. A bell which is going to ring before we start. So please, those who have the volume high, reduce it because it may be annoying if the volume is very high. And after 45 minutes, the bell will ring 3 times more. So as it seems, 45 minutes passed. So then any difficulties you have encountered with this meditation, you can just mention them. You can discuss them in order to overcome the difficulties. So I already see some questions in the chat. Those who want to ask verbally a question, they can actually go down to the small icons in the Zoom screen and see there is a small icon called reactions. And the small face there, they can raise their hand. So there is one question from Venura Jayan Singhe, who asked the question, please advise how to overcome falling asleep while meditating. So regarding sleeping, yes, that is an obstacle for many people. Try to choose a time when you don't feel tired for meditation. So when you feel fresh, when you actually especially don't try to meditate after the meals, immediately after the meals. At least wait 1 hour, 2 hours after the meal to meditate. So, and sleepiness will not come so fast. So otherwise, you usually have to choose a time when you are energetic. So when you feel not sleep and tired, and try to meditate in a particular time. So according to your ability, you try at least 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or a little bit more. So if sleepiness comes, of course, you have to better get up and walk a little bit down, up and down. You can wash your face with cold water if you like, or you can see at light, sunlight, or maybe if it is dark, you have a bulb in your house, you can look a bit in the bulb. That also makes the eyes to become more active and to remove some sleepiness. So therefore, that is the time you have to choose the times, which I told you. Don't choose unsuitable times for meditation when you are tired or after the meals, and try to choose a time when you are actually energetic, alert. And even so, if the sleepiness comes, so you have to interrupt your meditation and walk up and get up, walk, and then sit again. So that is one way how to overcome sleepiness. So another way, of course, now some people, before they meditate, they drink some coffee or some tea. So then, but even so, don't drink much. So take small amounts, because caffeine can also the side effects, because you might get very anxious. It produces anxiety. So take moderate amounts of caffeine. Tea also contains caffeine. So therefore now this can at least keep the mind alert, but you don't feel over anxious. So if it is moderate amount. Kak Fui asked the question, in Anapanasati, once mentally not in breath and out breath have settled down, can the focus be expanded to other parts of the body? So now if you expand your focus to other parts of the body, so you don't practice mindfulness of breathing. So as I told you, especially if you see the wind element, you practice elements meditation. So it's called, even so, to properly, correctly practice elements meditation, one has to combine it with other elements like solid element and heat element and liquid element. So therefore now you either practice Anapanasati, nor do you practice elements meditation in the correct way. So as I told you, the Buddha has put the place. Parimukha, you can check and so forth. It is about in front of one's face, around the nose. And he tells to establish that mindfulness there. And one more thing you have to remember, that this is a practice of concentration, to focus the mind in one place, not to move it there and there. So that's why the Buddha insisted to establish mindfulness in the in and out breath, and to try to see more details. That is how the practice proceeds, from the gross to the more details. Now, in the beginning, the first step is just to see in breath, out breath, out breath, and then slowly go and see how long the breath lasts, and then slowly see to the whole breath from the beginning to the end. The more details you see, the more you can proceed. The more you can proceed, the more concentration will increase. The more concentration will increase, you can see the light will appear. If the light appears, slowly you can attain the jhana. That is how the focus should be on the breath itself at the tip of the nose, but not in other parts of the body. Mariandi asked the question, how long we have to practice metta before we can switch to anapana? We can practice metta as long as the mind is agitated with these negative emotions. So if the negative emotions subside and you feel calm and serene, then you can easily switch and observe the breath. But if still anger is there, or sorrow is in your mind, or jealousy, or fear, and so forth, and the mind is agitated with these negative emotions, it will be difficult to switch on upon. Therefore, try to develop metta as much as possible till the mind becomes very calm. And as I told you, you can not only try to remove negative emotions, but also to try to develop positive emotions by telling yourself, may I be happy, and to arouse some happy feelings. This also helps a lot for meditation, because happiness brings some satisfaction in the mind, some serenity, some calmness, and this facilitates the mind to concentrate better. Julian asked the question, there are two sensations that I experience. I felt breath, it was shorter than, breath in was shorter than breath out. I felt breath out was very hot at mid to end phase. Is that normal? It is normal, because now the breath, it is, as it is, it depends how we perceive it. We perceive it in different ways. So you try to concentrate how you perceive the breath. So, and whether the heat is less or more, it can change according to the room you are, according to the environment you are, according to the food you eat. If you have, for example, eaten something which is, it produces some heat in the body, then you can feel the heat. If you take some ice cream, you feel it's called cold. So therefore now it is, these things happen, it's natural, it's normal. So then we don't try to see the heat or the coldness of the breath. You try to see the movement of the breath. The movement, whether it goes in, out, in, out. We have to be aware of the movement of the breath, whether it's hot or not, it is the movement. And try to see how long this movement lasts. So that we have feel that the in-breath is shorter and the breath out not. So sometimes can be, but you can give emphasis to the in-breath also. Because some people, they give too much emphasis to the in-breath, and they think that the in-breath is longer than the out-breath. Others who give emphasis to the out-breath, they think out-breath is longer than the in-breath. So you try to give more emphasis. When one breath is shorter, you try to give more emphasis to that breath. And you can see slowly that they have the same, almost the same rhythm, the same length of time. So therefore now, that all that is normal. It depends on our perception also. So We can't measure our breath actually, how it actually happens. It is within our range of experience. We experience like that. If we give emphasis to the out breath, then the out breath looks longer than the in breath. But if we give emphasis to the in breath, then it looks, what's called in breath looks longer. So it depends why you give your emphasis. But try to give emphasis to both. That's why the Buddha says one should breathe mindfully in, breathe mindfully out. And slowly, slowly you can see that they have almost the same time gap, this is called length. So Martini asks, what is the warmth feeling that I feel on my palms during meditation? Sometimes I may feel it heated up. So it can happen because if you put one palm upon the other, after some time you might feel the heat coming. So, and the sensation of heat comes. Therefore, you can try to put your palms apart and put them each on your knees. So then they will be far apart. So in that case, you might not feel the warmth. So then that is one way. I don't know how you put your hands. I suppose you put them one upon the other, the palms upon the other. If that is the case, you might feel this heat. Therefore, try to put them a little bit far from each other. And you can see that this warmth will not come. Siawi asked the question, Bande, when meditating, usually after 40 minutes, my leg becomes painful. Should I endure the pain or move the leg and change the position? Thank you. If you are as a beginner, of course, that is normal, because after maybe 30 minutes, 35 minutes, or even 40 minutes, some people, they start experiencing this pain in the knee or any other parts of the leg. So because our body is not used to sit in this position for a long time. On the chair, yes, because the knees are not tied together. So, but if you sit cross-legged, it is normal after 40 minutes to feel some pain because the body is not used. I don't know what kind of position you adopt. So if you sit cross-legged on the ground, you can sit in a cushion, and then you can put also a cushion under your knees. That also helps to support the knees and the discomfort. Therefore, I don't know what position you take. If your position is it's called cross-legged, of course, you try to put your knees a little bit far from your body so that the heels try to put them a little bit far from the body so that the knees are not too tight. So that helps the circulation of the blood around the knees. So that is one way. So, but if that does not help, you can try to sit on a chair or on a bed. So, but main thing is you keep the spine erect. Other way how to overcome this painful feeling is to make a small exercise like stretching exercises. So this is just a very simple exercise you can do. You can, if you sit cross-legged down on the floor, you can bend your body forwards till you touch the ground, your forehead. So afterwards, you can bend it backwards till you can. Afterwards, you erect it and then turn it to the right. So as much as you can, and then to the left as much as you can. Again, bend forward till you touch the ground with your forehead. Bend backwards, put your body erect, and then stretch it towards the right as much as you can, and then towards the left as much as you can. You can repeat this 4 or 5 times, and you can see that all the joints, they open. The knees also become more relaxed because they are stretched. So, and then you can sit longer. That is a small exercise you can do. So Chinta asked a question. It took time for me to get settled as I'm living with body pain due to arthritis. Now I feel the pain is reduced, though it was increased in the middle of the meditation. Does it have some effect on my condition? It can have. Some people, they can benefit because if you keep the leg unmoved for a long time, so blood starts in building up, so in a certain parts of the body, and that is a flow of blood that stays for a long time, and this can nourish certain joints. So, and some people, after some time, they feel some comfort because the blood comes there and stays longer time than normal, and this can nourish that area and so forth, and they can feel the pain gets reduced. So that's why maybe this is the reason, because you kept your posture, your position for a longer time in the same position. So this can be the reason. Other people, of course, they may feel discomfort. So because it is too much for them, but you, because you have arthritis, maybe you felt the benefits, because this is what that part of the body needs to be supplied with blood. If you become immobile for a longer time, that blood supplies that area and so forth, and you feel the pain to be reduced. This can be some effect of your meditation. So there is one question from a phone number. It is called L1. The question is, the best time to do meditation is at night or in the morning? It depends on your available time, but most of the people find that morning meditation is more effective, because after many hours of sleep, so the tiredness goes away and they get up in the morning very fresh. The mind is also very fresh, has no many thoughts are there. So, and then if they start meditating, they find it much easier in the morning. So other people, of course, because they don't have time in the morning, they can sit down in the night. They find it easy in the night. So therefore now you have to experiment with yourself and see. But the main thing is, whenever you start meditating, you must not feel tired, and don't meditate immediately after the meal. At least give a gap of 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours after the meal. So, and that they are the condition. Then try not to have any noises in your room. So therefore now you can have a comfortable meditation if you keep these conditions. Martini Ku asked the question, will there be any difference in the meditation result for different sitting position? For example, sit in full lotus or sit on a chair? Yes, there will be difference. Now, full lotus posture gives a stability in the body. quite strong stability, and then it is possible for one to stay longer without being concerned about the body. So if you sit on a chair, there is it's called, you feel sometimes you might fall and you have to safeguard your body. So that's why it's better to keep to sit on a chair where there are arms on the right and left, then you don't feel that you are going to fall. So that is one way. But now people who can't sit on the floor, like full lotus, they can start first with a chair, and slowly they should try also to sit on the ground and improve their position while sitting in lotus posture. Not full lotus, but at least they can start with a Burmese. I told you it's called this kind of Burmese style of posture, or any other, to sit on a cushion or like that, and slowly improve to sit cross-legged. Therefore, there is a result is, of course, much better if you sit in down cross-legged. That is the best because you have more stability. But sitting on the chair as a beginner is not bad. You can start doing it, and some people also feel good results. But as I told you, sit in such a position so that you don't feel that your body is going to fall. If you by accident make a movement, abrupt movement. So therefore now the chair should really be broad. You better sit on a bed. It's in that position, not high bed, but it's called low bed. So, and try to keep your legs under the bed and to have some stable position. That is how you can avoid being concerned too much about your body. Tusita asked the question, Bande, how do you prevent the body moving forward or backwards after some time in sitting upright when in pariyanga? When this happens and you realize it, we need to move the body back in correct position, but this breaks sati. So if it is too uncomfortable and you feel the need to move the body, you can move it whenever it is possible. So of course the sati breaks, but the sati is already broken because you feel the discomfort. If you feel discomfort, the mind, the sati or mindfulness does not go to the breath. It goes to the painful part of the body. So the sati is already broken. In that case, now you can move it a little bit forwards or backwards to adjust your posture. And then you can continue with your in-breath and out-breath. So, but don't do it often. You can do it only if it is absolutely necessary. So in that case, now you can regain your mindfulness if that discomfort disappears. Then the mind does not become busy with that painful feeling. So then in emergency case, if you were going to tell like that, in urgency, you can do so and come back to your mindfulness on the breath. So Dita Dhamma wants to ask directly with the microphone. So can you open the microphone?
Yes, but I did turn on the microphone, but then it seems that Dita Dhamma left the meeting. As soon as I turn on the microphone, I don't know, maybe something happened, and this person left the meeting. So
okay.
Yeah. If he comes or she comes back, can ask.
Yes.
It's back. It's back. 1 minute.
Sorry. Yeah, Bante, sorry. My connection not really stable just now.
Yes,
Hello.
you can ask, right?
Hello. A moment. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah. Yeah, Bante, is that clear right now? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Bante, I would like to ask a few questions. First is regarding the object meditation. Do we focus on it, or or are we with the object meditation? Personally, when I use when the concept appear in me, when the use the word focus, it's causing distress inside the mind. Like you're trying to focus all the energy toward one point, and eventually become like very what's this called, some tightness in the head. But if I tell myself, I will be with my meditation object, somehow it is much better. So would it be, is it, or just simply the word difference, or would there be any is there any difference in the being focusing on the object or with the meditation object? Yeah.
Oh, yes, now people, they perceive these words in different way. For some people, focus, it is easy for them to understand. If they meditate, it is easy to follow the breath without strain.
Okay.
So, and they have no problem with this understanding of focus. Other people, they understand focus in a different way. They think they have to strain the mind, to push the mind in order to concentrate. So that is, of course, they strain, they put more strain. When you use the word focus, of course, you just leave the mind to stay there. You would try to bring the attention to it, try to bring the attention. You can use other words, they are synonymous words. If these words are more easy for you, you can use them, never mind. So, but main thing is that we don't try to push the mind. Actually, we try to turn the mind to feel the breath. Try to feel the breath.
Okay.
That is the thing. That's why now the Buddha says, if one breathes in, one understands, I breathe in. It's about understanding. How to understand it? Because there is some feeling there. And you try to understand the movement of the breath. Actually, it's movement. What you observe is movement. In, out, and out. And try to bring the body again to experience it, the whole thing and so forth. It's about experiencing. So you can use these words, just experience. You can use these words.
All right.
Focus.
Focus. Okay, just use the synonym words. Okay,
yes.
Bante, allow me to ask about this Yugananda Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 470. There's fourth, during this, Bante Ananda told that those monks that come to visit Lord Buddha, all of them have been achieving the Magga and Pala through the fourth way. One, through insight, through concentration and insight. Second one is insight concentration. Third one in tandem, and the fourth one, this one I really need the explanation from Bante regarding this. The translation over there is said that it is through the in the case where a monk mind has its restlessness concerning the Dharma, and commentary say that the corruption of insight well under control. What does the corruption of insight mean, Bante? Will Bante kindly explain this? Thank you, Bante.
So corruption of insight, it is the Pali word Vipassana upakilesa. Upakilesa, defilements. Now, for example, if a meditator sees a light during meditation, then the mind becomes restless. The reason is because he thinks, maybe this is enlightenment, this light. And he forgets to see that this light also is impermanent. So therefore now he has to continue seeing with Vipassana this light, not just to enjoy this light. The same way, if joy arises during meditation, then the mind becomes excited. That is upakilesa. There is a corruption of the mind. The mind gets corrupted because it tries to enjoy this joy during meditation. And then the meditator forgets to understand that this joy is also impermanent. So that therefore his mind becomes corrupted. In the same way, the corruption of the mind comes. And he's thinking, oh, maybe now I become Sotapanna, maybe Sakadagam because of the joy. So therefore, this is Dhamma Uddacha. Dhamma means if you, by observing this mental phenomena, Dhamma means they are mental phenomena. Tuned to mental phenomena, Uddacha comes, restlessness comes. Because one does not see this phenomena as impermanent, as suffering as not self. So therefore, one has to continue on Vipassana and see how this phenomena will rise and fall. So then he can overcome this corruption of the mind, this Vipassana Pakilesa.
Oh, okay. Allow me, we regard the word joy. What does the difference between the pamoja and piti? The translation seemed to be, was it any difference? Pamoja from the Upanisa Sutta, the Samyutta Nikaya 12.
Yes, these are synonym words. Sometimes pamodati, piti.
Pamoja.
Yes, these are synonym words for piti.
Okay.
It is actually the mental factor is piti, mental factor. And this can be expressed with different ways. For example, to be joyful, to be, what is another word they use it? I can't remember. In English, there are many synonym words. In English language, there are many synonym words.
Okay, sure.
Therefore, now these are synonymous, and it is actually the mental factor of piti.
Mental factor of piti. Okay, okay. Okay, thank you, Bante, for the explanation. Anumodana, Bante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So Martini asked the question, can we shower a medal after meditation? Yes, why not? If you feel doing so, no problem. So because meditation does not interfere with the metabolism of the body and as such, so you can do so because you don't sweat. If you sweat a lot and you go to bath, then of course you might have some side effects. Or if you're very tired and you go to bath, maybe it will have some side effects. So, but after meditation, I don't think there will be any side effects. You can try yourself. If by accident you see some side effects, it has some negative effects to you, you can just don't do it. But I don't think there will be any side effects. So there are no more questions in the chat box. So then, and there are no more questions also in the, not any raised hand. So today it seems we're going to conclude our class, and so you can conclude our class. We're going to repeat this class next Sunday, the same class with Anapanasati and Metta. And it will be just repetition. For those who already saw the PowerPoint presentation, they can enter in the Zoom maybe 1 hour later. We put it will be the same time as today. You can, if you like, you enter 1 hour later, just to take the brief instructions how to meditate instead of having the full-fledged explanations. So for those who are new, they can enter in the specified time, and so that they can have the full explanation. So I give this explanation because we have to know from where the source comes, how the Buddha explained these things, and it needs some time to explain. It is not just 5 minutes Of course, the full explanation, just 5 minutes. I can explain everything in 5 minutes, no problem. So, but I give this PowerPoint presentation for you to see from where the source comes, how the Buddha explained these things, and to have confidence that it is not coming from any other source. So for those who are interested to see, to watch this PowerPoint presentation again, they can see it next Sunday. Okay, so then for today, we're going to conclude our class. We wish you all the best and for your progress, and also stay healthy and safe. So, Michael, you are going to conclude, it seems. You can open the microphones. Hello?
Μπάντε, μ' ακούτε? Μ' ακούτε?
Ότι τελειώσαμε.
Δεν σας ακούω.
Από εδώ δεν με ακούτε από το μικρόφωνο.
Μπάντε, δεν σας ακούω ούτε στο ακουστικό.
Ειλικρινά. Κάτι έγινε. Can you hear me? Can you... Εντάξει, πες ότι τελειώσαμε. Εγώ τους είπα ότι τελειώσαμε. Ανοίξτε τα μικρόφωνα τους.
Μπάντε, μ' ακούτε?
Λοιπόν, εγώ σας ακούω.
Εγώ δεν σας ακούω όμως. Δεν δουλεύει το τηλέφωνο μου. Το έκανα reboot.
Αχα.
Α, τώρα σας ακούω.
Εντάξει.
Τι, έγινε κάτι?
Λοιπόν, τους είπα εγώ ότι τελειώσαμε και μετά προσπάθησα να μιλήσω εσάς και δεν μιλούσατε γι' αυτό.
Α, τελειώσαμε σήμερα?
Ναι.
Okay. So, thanks everybody for your participation, and we will meet next week, next Sunday, same time, and we will send you a reminder email as well. You can unmute yourselves if you want to say bye-bye. Okay.